Let's talk about the role of women around the world, both as engines of the economy and often on the front lines of climate impacts, and also in terms of water and food stress that's the result of climate, both in terms of the challenges as well as the solutions.
Very interesting that you asked that, Greg. I've often said climate has the face of a woman. And the reason for that is women in developing countries are absolutely at the nexus in between food, water, and energy. They are basically responsible for this, okay? They need to produce the food, they need to gather the firewood or whatever else they need for energy, and they need to go somewhere and get their water. And they're the ones that keep the families alive because of their responsibilities on these three. And if there are any three factors that are directly affected by climate, it's food, water, and energy. And so women, particularly in developing countries, are really at the forefront of negative climate impacts. They are the ones that bear the brunt. In some African countries, the food is 85% produced by women, 85% produced by women. At the same time, what is very interesting is that women, if given the necessary tools, can really be little ants of change, okay? Think of women in developing countries as a huge network, a huge ant colony that can really bring about the necessary change. Because these are the women that will make the decision about how am I going to cook? Am I going to continue to cook? I'll give you a very scary fact. 50% of women around the world, 50%, still cook on open fires. You know what an open fire is? It is 3 stones, 3 pieces of wood, and a pot on top. 50% of women around the world, that is immoral. That is immoral in the year 2013, because what it means is women have to walk long distances to go, and every day longer distances to go and get the firewood. Along the path, they are raped, robbed, or something else. Then they have to put up with all the fire, because they're the ones that cook, with their children. So the fire produces all of this smoke, and the women are the ones that have respiratory problems and their children because of the cooking like this. And then the men still complain about the recipe, right? So they are the ones that can actually be the agents of change, because they're the ones that can say, okay, yes, we have been cooking like this for years, but given the technology, and here's where technology dissemination needs to come in, I could move to an efficient stove. I could do something very, very different.
And there's some very successful clean cook stove projects out there, right?
Many out there, many, many projects, and every day more, thank heavens, replacing open fires with efficient stoves. There are many projects that are replacing kerosene lamp, which is currently the light of choice in developing countries, with solar cells. And again, it's the women who are doing this. So the women can be very important agents of change. And today we were just with a very exciting new initiative called the Women's Carbon Standard, which is a new initiative that is going to go out there, and at these mitigation projects, they're going to overlay a filter to see, are women actually being benefited by these projects? Are women being involved in the technology production and the technology dissemination? Are they being involved in the income? Are they being benefited by extra education? I think we will see, particularly in developing countries, that women really are starting already, but will continue to take the lead in change.
A related issue is fertility rates and population. A lot of people in energy and environmental circles don't want to go near that because it's politically charged, it's not their issue. But isn't it true that stopping the rise in population would be one of the biggest levers in driving the rise in greenhouse gases? Is that?
Well, I mean, we all know we expect 9 billion, right, by 2050. So yes, obviously less people would exert less pressure on the natural resources, and that's
so
just
is 9
math.
billion a foregone conclusion? That's like baked in, done, no way to change that?
Well, there again, there's pressure in the system to go toward that. We can definitely change those, right? We can definitely change those numbers, and we really should make every effort to change the numbers because we are already today already exceeding the planetary carrying capacity today, to say nothing of adding more population that is going to really overextend our capacity. So yes, we should do everything possible, but we cannot fall into the very simplistic opinion of saying just by curtailing population, then we've solved the problem. It is not an either or, it is an and also.